Going back to the kids, the nature and wildlife, tell us about the blue racer snake story.
I don't even remember that story. I don't think anymore. But that was a huge snake that I saw along the Wabash River in Indiana. It had a fish in its mouth. It was coming up there on the bank, and I caught that thing, and I took it home. And it was about 5 foot long,
Okay.
and I took it to high school to biology class. We had to give a talk, in biology, and my subject was snakes. And I went to give my talk, and I had this gallon jug, and the snake was in that. I unscrewed the lid on the thing and took the snake out, and the teacher, who was a man, went berserk. Get that back in there! Get that back in there! Gotta put that away! He got all excited. I said, "It's not poisonous." I said, "What are you getting all excited about?" But anyway, that was funny that he got all worked up by it. And he was supposed to be a biology professor, knows all about that.
This was a blue racer snake?
Yeah,
Okay.
they're was kind of popular there, and they're more southern, like from Indiana south is where they are. They don't have them up in this part of the country that I know of, but you had them, a lot of them in southern Illinois and southern Indiana. And I just happened to find one along the Wabash River, coming up on the bank with a fish in its mouth, and took it home with me.
So, what about big pine snakes? What are your memorable catches and why you like them?
Oh, that's good. In Wisconsin, at our place, we caught the big pine snakes like that. They get about the same size as a blue racer, but they catch a lot of mice and rats. That's their favorite food out there in the wild. And I used to catch a few of them now and then, but I haven't seen any in the last few years. They're just stuck there. What happened to them, I don't know. But they're a pretty good sized snake, and they're very enjoyable to handle because they're not poisonous, and you can handle them any way you want. They might bite you, but they ain't gonna hurt you.
Okay. Tell us the story about your two-row dogs.
Oh, my dogs, two bad dogs, huh? Well, I used to have out in the backyard. We had a fence up, and I had Canadian geese in there, and I also had the turkey one time. But we had that back there with the geese in it, and I found where had a gate on it, and the two dogs dug under the gate and went in there and killed the geese. And they were inside this house that the geese were supposed to be in when it gets bad weather. And so I went and saw them in there, and I ran back up to the house and got the gun, went back there and shot them, and dug a hole and buried them. I don't know whose dogs they were, but they didn't have no tags on them or anything. And then the second time, we have a collie, and I heard him barking like crazy, and I look out there and I see these two dogs circling around him, two German shepherds, and they were really just showing their teeth and just circling him. And I said, "Oh, they're going to attack him and try to kill him." And so when I went out there, one of them, first one come right after me, and I shot it in the yard right there with a pistol. And then went out, took a couple steps down off the steps, and the other one come up from the dog and come over after me, growling with his teeth showing, and I shot him. Then I called the sheriff to tell him what happened. I had shot these dogs, and they were attacking my dog, and also I had a guy across the road was in a van. And before the dogs come over to my place, they were circling that van and wouldn't let that guy out of the car. He was afraid to get out, so he was kind of glad I shot him, I guess. But anyway, the police came and they got all the information, and the woman that owned her daughter owned the dogs, and her daughter didn't live there at this woman's house, but then she let them out, didn't put them on a leash, and they took off. And they were hunting on their own, I guess. But anyway, the sheriff then wanted to see my pistol. It was a Colt 45 automatic, like the military used. And they took it to the station, and about a week later I could go down there and get it. But they had to take it in and check the serial number against any other serial numbers that might be from stolen guns or anything like that, I guess.
So the man in the van, was he a witness?
What's that?
The man in the van?
Yeah, he's the one.
Was he a witness?
Yeah, he's the one that told the police too that, yeah, he said, I couldn't get out of my car. Them guys were trying to attack me when I'm trying to get out of the car. So he didn't say anything about shooting the dog. They know that was the right thing to do.
So tell me, why do you like snakes and turtles?
I don't know if I like them or not, but I just.
You like catching them though?
Yeah, I catch them. And the turtles we caught, we ate some big snappers we had, and we ate them. But there's a lot of work to clean them and stuff. But I just liked all types of wildlife. As a kid growing up, and as an adult when I walked and waded in the swamps and stuff down here at the Illinois Beach State Park. So I just enjoy animals, the wild animals,
like
studying them.
He liked
Frogs still, yeah. Caught frogs. I remember at our place up in Wisconsin, we had one of these here water tanks, we call them a horse tank for watering horses. I had about 25 garter snakes in that thing. We were feeding them little frogs and stuff. And by the end of our trip up there, we was there for a week. Some of them started having babies because them snakes are born alive. They don't lay an egg. The egg matures within the mother,
Okay.
and they're born alive. And a lot of the other types of snakes, and the other ones I know of will lay their eggs and they circle around it and guard it till they're hatched out.
Okay.
These just lay them. They're born alive. So I had a whole bunch of little baby snakes when we got done. Had to turn them all loose.
Now, you said you bought the land in Wisconsin?
Yeah.
In 1970?
Yeah.
Early 70s?
We bought part of it. We bought all of it except the 4 acres that the house was on, house and garage.
Okay.
We bought the old barn and everything else there, and the old milk house and the old barn. And then I built a pole barn back there. And then when the owners of it passed away, then we bought the rest of the property from the missus. The mister died and she had to go in a nursing home. So,
That's about, what, 82 acres?
yeah, 82 acres it is.
altogether.
And it's a nice property. It's got woods on it. The river, we own both sides of the river runs through there, Jump River. And downstream is a big flowage and a dam on the river. But it was a nice hunting ground. I enjoyed it. Get snowshoe rabbits. I hunt grouse there and stuff like that at that property. But not anymore. You don't see the snowshoe rabbits anymore up there. I don't know what happened to them. They're easy to catch in the spring because the snowshoe rabbit turns white in the winter.
Okay.
But if the snow melts fast, there they are white, and the coyotes and foxes and wolves can see them real easy then.
Okay.
And they get caught pretty quick.
Okay.
But that's what we used to do. And then we used to hunt some geese, Canadian geese, in the beaver ponds there. I did a lot of that too. Then
So,
that flowage is really good fishing for bass and crappies.
how about wading and fishing the Jump River
Oh, that one
and
is.
taking the kids with you?
Yeah, we used to always do that, and loved to wade fish and stuff. And one time we went there with Mike and and I had my snorkeling outfit on at that time. Did I tell you that story already?
Uh, I can't remember.
Anyway, I was snorkeling and I went up around the mild rapids, and there were two big boulders in the water, and in between them was this big catfish. You couldn't see the head because it was stuck under the rocks in between them. And then when I called Mike, I come up, I called Mike, and throw me your line out here, Mike. I got a big catfish. So he throws the line, I go down there and put the worms on that fish's back, jiggle it, and the fish backs up, and I put it down in front of him. He eats it then, and I jerk on it and get him set. And I said, Mike, I come up, I say, Mike, I got him on there.
Yeah, I remember you going over it.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, you did do that. Is there one with him being a scout leader for Cub Scouts and Boy Scouts?
Who, me?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
I was the,
Or no,
I was
I
the
mean-
chairman of the
You didn't.
of the Scouts, the committee, I should say, of Boy Scouts. One of my boys went to the Boy Scouts, and and I dressed up as an Indian called Chief Akela, and I would give out the monthly awards.
Okay.
And some of them kids were so scared to death when they come up on the stage and see me come out there, my whole Indian outfit on and the head feathers and things, but they got a big kick out of it.
So who was the Boy Scout, Mark?
Oh, they all were. The
Oh,
boys.
okay.
They were all Eagle Scouts except Mark. Had all the things he needed to do, but he didn't want to go up on stage and all that. He was kind of shy, so he didn't do it.
Okay.
But Mike, or Stephen and Mike and Mark all were Eagle Scouts.
Nice.
Tell them about you've done that for 16 years.
16 years I was on the committee of awards, and I would hand out
That's
the
a
Boy
month.
Scout awards as Chief Akela.
Okay.
And everybody liked it because I always had some kind of a thing going on about it. I'd have a story with it to get them up there.
What was your advice to the kids about raising the baby hawks they found?
Oh, I don't know what I did. I don't remember that one. That good enough.
So you told them to not to raise the baby hawks because they found or would take up their entire vacation trying to
Yeah.
catch mice,
Yeah.
snakes, and frogs to feed them.
Yeah, so they left them there in the nest. Didn't mess with them. But talking about the hawks, we had a lot of times we had crows. We had baby crows, and I remember the one that we had here. The kids was always out here with him. He would fly down and land on their shoulders, and I'd be working on the car, and I have my sockets out there, and he would take the sockets and put them up on the roof and drop them in the rain gutter, and I'd have to go up and get them back down. Anyway, the kids went over here to school, and while they were going there, he's flying along with them, flies along, gets over to school, and the next thing you know, in the class, that they're sitting in the class, and then this crow goes up, lands on the windowsill outside, pecking on the glass, walking along there, and everybody knew that would come with David, and the teacher told David to go out there and get your bird out of there. David says, well, I don't have that bird. He can fly anywhere he wants. But,
The one in church.
yeah, and we had one time somebody opened up the door and he flew into the church and went up on the altar and laid up on the cross up above the altar there, and the pastor got kind of mad seeing that crow in there, told him to get him out of here, and so we had to round him up and open up the door and let him fly out, you know, get him out. But the pastor just kind of laughed afterwards. He acted like he's real mad about it, but he thought it was kind of funny too.
Uh huh.